thank you for being here and for taking part in this important civic event. My name is Gary, representative here in Hawkins County, and I am proud to be your moderator for this evening. Our goal this evening is simple: to provide a fair, respectful, and informative forum where you can hear directly from the candidates seeking to serve as your next sheriff. At this time, before we get any further, I'm going to ask Mr. to come up and please to open us up with prayer.
The opportunity to be here tonight. We thank you for each person that's taken interest in our community, or we for each of these put their personal lives on to serve this community, for the opportunity to serve this community. We thank you, Lord, that you're a God that transcends politics. Lord, you're much greater than anything that we face here in this life. We thank you so much for that. We pray, Lord, that through the power of your good spirit, that you meet the needs of the lives across this county. The are greater than we. But we're thankful that you're able to do exceedingly abundantly above anything we can think or ask. Of all, for down on the cross, and that you're alive today in our hearts. We ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Would please remain standing. I'm going to ask Miss Linda Buffles if she would come forward and lead us in our pledge, and of course the flag is to my left.
If you all will give the proper hand salute, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and for all.
At this time, as we get ready to start, I do want to thank the Volunteer High School Broadcast Club for their live streaming. Also, there is a code. If you got a handout that they were actually passing out, please be sure to take a look at that, scan that QR code, and you can make a donation through that. So let's do, if you don't mind, give the Volunteer High School Broadcast Club let's give them a round of applause for being here this evening. So the office of sheriff is one of the most important roles in county government. It carries responsibilities that touch nearly every aspect of public safety. Law enforcement, operating the jail, serving court processes, and working alongside the community to ensure both safety and trust. The decisions made in this office have real everyday impacts on the lives of citizens. It's about helping voters make an informed decision. Each candidate will have equal time to speak, and we ask that everyone, candidates and audience alike, respect the format and have a productive and meaningful discussion. We ask the audience to hold their applause until appropriate times. Remain respectful of all candidates, regardless of differences in opinion. Democracy depends on civil discourse, and that's what we aim to model here tonight. Now, let's look at the rules so that everyone knows what they are before we begin. Now, the candidates have seen what the rules are, so let me run by them real quick for you all. The purpose of this forum is intended to inform voters. All candidates will be treated equally and fairly. Participation: all qualified sheriff candidates were invited. Only candidates may speak, no representatives or substitutes. If a candidate was absent, it would have been acknowledged by the moderator. Let's talk about the time and format. 60 minutes total for the question session. We will have moderator questions and introductions. Then we will have options, and you may submit your questions, and they will be handed to me by one of the Republican leadership team members. That box is right over to my left. Wave there so everybody can see it. There's pen and paper there. You can write them down, and they will bring them over to me. The questions, when I see them and read them, at the top, there will be the length of time that each candidate will have to answer that question. Most will be either a 1 or 2 minute. When a candidate gets to 10 seconds left during their allotted time, there will be a yellow card come up. 3040 will be handling that card, and you see the yellow card, that means you've got 10 seconds, and of course the red card means it's time to stop. Finish your sentence, basically. Time will be strictly enforced, so be sure to follow the rules on the time. So again, time limit, you'll have a 1-minute opening statement, then we will have questions that you will respond in 1 or 2 minutes. Closing statements, everyone will have a close. At the end of that 60 minutes, each candidate will have 5 minutes for their closing statement. A timekeeper will enforce all time limits. Microphones may be cut off if time is exceeded. Order of speaking. They were randomly assigned, they drew, and this is the random assigned seat that they drew. Each question will be rotated. So with Mr. Good, the next question will be by Mr. Miller, and so on and so forth down the line. Moderator authority. The moderator, myself, will be neutral and will remain that way. I will enforce time limits, I'll keep the discussion on topic, and I will maintain order. If a candidate exceeds times or if these rules are violated, besides the first 2 questions, I have not seen this evening's questions. Candidate conduct, of course, candidates, as you all well know, no interrupting other candidates, no personal attacks, responses must be addressed to the question that you've been asked, and crosstalk or debate unless allowed by the moderator. No shouting, and this is for the audience, no shouting, interruptions, or disruptions. Hold applause until the end or as directed. And again, you may submit to the box to my right. They should be relevant to the office of sheriff, and they should be directed at all candidates. As far as media and recording, this will be recorded on live stream, and by participating, candidates, you have consented to the recording. Enforcement, anyone violating rules will be warned and removed if necessary. With that, thank you for your willingness. First of all, to serve as sheriff of Hawkins County, but certainly for being here tonight. Thank you for being willing to share your vision, your experience, and your ideas for the future of this office. So candidates, let's give a round of applause. All right, question number 1. Please take 1 minute and introduce yourself. We'll begin with Mr. Good.
My name's David Good. I was born and raised in Hawkins County. I live in Bullseye, where I was raised at. I've been in law enforcement for 30 years, from 1993. The last 25 years, I've been a state trooper. I've got an associate's degree in criminal justice. Again, my name's David Good. Thank y'all for being here.
Mr. Miller.
My name is Roddy Miller. I've been with the department for April 25th, will be 34 years. I'm currently assistant police chief. I'm also a captain in our fire department, where I've also been there for 34 years. And look forward to hopefully being a sheriff.
Mr.
My name is Chad Britton. I'm a Hawkins County native, born and raised in Sabornville, Churchill. Graduated from Volunteer High School in 1989. Went to Lincoln Memorial University where I got a bachelor's in fisheries management. Went to Ohio when I got married. Went to the police academy. Worked for a sheriff's office in Ohio. I worked corrections. Worked as a school resource officer and worked patrol. Moved back to Hawkins County. Started with the sheriff's office here. Been total 27, a little over 27 years in law enforcement. I've been on patrol, been on the SWAT team and the detective division at Hawkins County since 2013.
Yes, Stewart.
My name is Scott Stewart. I currently serve as the Assistant Director of the 3rd Judicial District Drug and Violent Crimes Task Force. I was also on the FBI Task Force up until I ran for Sheriff after that. I've been in law enforcement since 2003. And prior to that, my emergency service career in 1994 with the Hawkins County Rescue Squad. If it's got a light and a siren on it, I've done it. Fire department, rescue squad, EMS, also done all that stuff and still serve with the rescue squad. I'm a lifelong resident here, and that's it.
And Mr. Allen.
Good evening. My name is Tommy Allen. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight at the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department for 31 years. I've worked every division there. I worked for 4 sheriffs. I have a beautiful son, wife, and daughter that's here tonight with me. I'd love to be your sheriff. I have a 4-year degree in criminal justice, and I have been your chief deputy for 10 years. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. First question, this will be a 1-minute question. We're going to begin with you, Mr. Miller. First question, what is your main goal you wish to achieve by being here this evening?
Working. All right, number one, I want to say the name of some of the words. We hear a lot about that, and we have a lot of work to do. I know that I'm running against everybody here. There's a lot of rumors going around that I'm not in this to win it. I am in it to win it, and I don't want anybody to think anything less than that. I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, and I will fight for everyone's civil rights. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Britton?
My primary goal for being here tonight was to meet the citizens that came to see what we had to say and what questions were asked and what our answers were. And if anybody has any questions outside of what's covered tonight, I'll be glad to give you my numbers, 423-367-911. And I will be also in the parking lot after this if anybody else has any other questions.
Mr. Stewart?
To echo what Chad said, we were contacted by several different groups on doing a forum like this, answering questions. We've done multiple pop-ups, we've done a lot of meet and greets, and this just seemed to be the right forum to try to meet the most amount of people throughout the county that we could, and to take, because it seems like when you're out here on the trail, you're talking to people in a day, it seems like you repeatedly get the same questions over and over. And we felt that this was the best place to meet, answer a lot of those questions with a lot in one group in one setting. So that's what we did. That's what we agreed, and that's why we came. I'm the same way. All of my material that I have has my cell phone number on it. That's the cell phone that we've had for, and it'll be on after the election.
Mr. Allen?
My number one goal was to put a face in front of you. I wanted to show you that I'm willing to answer the questions. I'm with you every day like I do. Ethic is I work 14, 16 hours every day. I love Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. I'm going to be here to answer questions afterwards. My cell phone number on my website, on my sheet tonight, I will not ever drop a phone call. So for the last 10 years, if you call the department, it actually rings my cell phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to put a face in front of you, and just remember, I love Hawkins County Sheriff's Department.
Mr. Good?
My main goal to be here tonight is to meet people I've not got to meet out in the community. Who I am, get to know them. I'm especially looking forward to everybody out here. I do want to be sheriff. I think it's time for change in this county. I'm not affiliated with the sheriff's department in any form or fashion. I'm here to listen to you all, answer y'all's questions best as I can, listen to your concerns, and just have a real conversation with everybody out here in the community. Again, my name's Dave Good, and you can get hold of me. I've got a web page, cards. You can get hold of me. My phone number is 423-748-995. Thank everybody.
All right, before we go to question number 2, can you all, is the sound okay? Are we good with the sound? Okay, I see thumbs up. All right, let's go to question number 2. This will be a 2-minute question, again with Mr. Britton. Mr. Britton, do you have a knowledgeable understanding of and operations of the detention facility to include the roles and responsibilities of each staff position? If so, what training and do you have, and experience do you have that has aided you in that understanding?
Yes, I am familiar with the detention operation and the positions. The head of the jail, as I refer to it, is, as far as operations, lieutenant, director. Lieutenant, you got the shift sergeants and the shift corporals, that you've got the corrections officers, deputies, whatever you refer to them. They're the ones that tend to the day-to-day operation of the jail. And you also have the other staff as far as the healthcare, the kitchen staff, and second part.
What training and experience do you have that has aided you to have that understanding?
Okay. TCI covers the jail training. I've worked for over 2 years in the jail when I worked at the Sheriff's Office. I've never worked at Hawkins County, but I am familiar with the processes.
Mr. Stewart.
So I did work in the jail. I started out in the jail as a corrections officer in 2003. I'm sure there's changed. Back then there were 2 in the jail administrators that worked shift, and it's a lot different now than it used to be. But I do have, look at the budget and the sheriff's office almost like 2 separate entities. You have the jail side and then the patrol side and the sheriff's office side, as I call it. So they do have a lot of different rules with both of them, but we feel confident that we would be able to pick up day one and run that jail.
Mr. Allen.
16 years ago, I went to the new sheriff's school in Nashville. Walked in there, they said, whatever you told people, that's not what's going to happen. 80% of your time is going to be in corrections. And guess it was correct. I spent over 80% of my time in corrections. People don't realize that you run anywhere from 250 to 300 people. You also got the medical. That's over $300,000 a year. Kitchen staff. You got the work crews that the sheriff has implemented. TCI is what certifies you to be able to run, so you're certified in the jail. Jail issues, sick people who's calling in to work. Whenever you go into that, just the other day we had an officer to get hurt. It's very dangerous. You got to be well trained. You got to know what the rules are, because TCI will decertify you. You got board bills. That's how you get money from the state inmates. You got to be able to supply that information. Autumn Armstrong does a great job at that. I could not do it without Summer. Is the one who's doing the training. The sergeants and the corporals come every day and put their life on the line for the jail. So if you want somebody to be able to step in and make sure it runs to day-to-day operations, I can do that because I've been doing it for 16 years.
Mr. Good.
I've never worked in the jail. I was lucky. I started on 1990. I do know how the jail operates, all about the budget, all about the staffing issue. I know if I was your sheriff, would step in and put some people in place that could run the jail, run it efficiently. The budget for the last year is like $1.2 million. We've got to get a hold of that. Like I said, I know how to operate. I've been in jail for the last 30 years, taking people to jail. And all of the issues that they have, again, is putting people in place in the right position to run the jail.
Mr. Miller.
So I've been pretty fortunate over the last 34 years. I've took a lot of people have to admit I don't know a lot about the jail. And what I'll have to do is I'll have to find me some good people. There's a lot of good people that already work there. And I'm going to depend on people to help me get more familiar with the jail. There's a lot of things I'd like to do with the jail. I'd like to start programs in the jail, spiritual, train our jailers to be more aware of human trafficking, things that there's a lot of people don't realize that's going on around here, but we do have some problems. And it takes a village. And there's a lot of things that I don't know, that I've worked for the city for a long time, but I'm not afraid to ask for help.
All right, thank you all. Next question comes from the crowd. This will be a 1 minute. We're going to begin with, what type of leadership style do you bring to this office? When did you do it?
Well, for the last 12 years, I've been the assistant director of the drug task force, and of the task. And the guys that work for me, the sheriffs that I work with, the chiefs that the other officers, the state agencies, federal agencies, they'll tell you, I'm a boots on the guy. I like in with my guys, see what's going on. I feel like when you're out there with your people, you get a better feel of what's going on the day-to-day. One thing that we want to collect is we want all of our frontline supervisors to know that not just them, but our administration, our lieutenants, they're going to work at least one day a week with their division. So the guy that's overseeing patrol, he's not just going to sit in the office, he's going to be out there with them. And I will be doing the same thing. I know there's administrative things that have to be done, but that's what we plan to do.
Yes.
This word comes up a lot, this scholarship. A servant leadership is somebody who's willing to do it, no questions asked. Let's get it. If anybody asks me, of course, no first, because I have to think of things. And after I plan within the next 2 or 3 years, yes, with it. But later, that's me. You can ask. I'll do anything, anytime. I love going to work. My work ethic is 14 hours a day. I'm at home, I'm reading something, I'm studying, because there's so many laws that you've got to keep up with in jail, patrol, courtside process. You have to keep up with it, and I'm always studying. I'm always wanting to get a little bit more information, one more thing done that day, because I love going to work.
Mr. Good.
I'm going to be the leader. You gotta be open door policy. You gotta be, you're just word transparency. I'm not gonna be one sheriff that's gonna be hiding anything. But it's gonna be able to come in and talk to me anytime they want. Gotta build trust back with the community. I hear it out here in the public a lot since I've been there. Kind of been down on the sheriff's department. You gotta get the trust. You gotta earn trust, by the way. It's not given. You gotta get the respect. I want to hold it to the high standard, just like I'm going to hold myself to the standard. We've got to get, not going to be any kind of cliques or anything like that, no kind of politics is going to be involved, anything like that. I treat everybody fair. That's one of the other big things I've heard out there. Nobody gets treated the same. I'm going to change all that.
Mr. Miller.
So at the Churchill Police Department in the latter, I worked over 300 hours overtime. I'm there when I get the call. I love to be a part of everything that's going on. And if I'm elected sheriff, I'm not going to sit behind the desk. I want to be a part of everything that's going on. I always have an open door policy. Anytime that if you need me, I'll eat lunch with you. I'll answer my phone. I want to be a part of everything that's going on there. I want to be part of the jail. I want to serve warrants. I'd love to be on the SWAT team. I've never did. I think that I'd love to help these guys. I'm looking forward to learning a lot of new things.
Mr. Britt.
My style of leadership, don't give your order, that type of other personnel to do something that you're not willing to do, or you not personally. And as far as for the public, I'll have an open door policy, and just like Tony said earlier, his sheriff's office desk phone forwards to his cell phone. Mine does that as well, so it's on me 24/7, whether I'm in Colorado elk hunting or on Cherokee Lake fishing. Anybody can be anything, anytime, anywhere.
1 minute. As of now, some inmates do some work around the county. Do you envision creating a more robust program to enable more inmates to participate?
The sheriff law implemented probably 15 years ago. We work at the recycling center, you do the litter pickup, but what you got to remember is you got to have somebody TCI certified. That's something that I've already looked into, is seeing what we can do to help the Humane Society, is to get some people TCI certified to be able to get them some help down there cleaning the cages. And yes, we love seeing the inmates out here working, because if they're not there, if they're not sitting in jail, they're doing something productive. And yes, I think that the jail work crews, you can ask anybody who's been able to be a part of it, they like it, and we like it too, and the inmates like it too.
Mr. Good.
Yes, I'm all for it. I'd like a whole lot more of what we do now. Again, I think Tommy said it. Help the inmate, got the jail board, stuff like that, it can go towards that. But I'm all for it. Helping everybody out the county with it, I think it's a good thing.
Mr.
I'm all for it also. I think there's a lot of people in jail, a lot of good skills, and along the lines, they might have made some things, but they can still be a to the county. I personally know a few people standing there right now, and I would trust some of them with anything. Sometimes people make mistakes, and it don't mean that they don't deserve a second chance. And, I'm all for it. If we can get out there and give them a chance and let them utilize their skills, I think it'd be a good thing.
Mr. Britt.
I think so far everybody's for it. I also am for it. I would love to see the program expand and create more positions and more places, but like was said earlier, it's in the personnel training to supervising inmates or up with the funding for the sheriff's office to have somebody. And then once you've got all that in place, it's finding the right person, inmate, for each individual position that you're trying to fill, and not everybody is going to be eligible. You'll have to keep that in mind also.
Mr. Stewart.
One of the things that I've seen through the task force that Greene County, for an example, did, they took some of their state inmates and they got with some of their local businesses that needed it, help, staffing issues, and they programmed to where they took inmates at the facility work. They work a regular shift with regular people, and then they come back, and it allowed them the ability to make to where while they're in there, we don't just have a warehouse of people that are incarcerated. We got people that are coming out. They've got a little money in the bank on their fines while they're in there. If they need their driver's license, they help them get that. Where when they came out, they were set up. They already had a job in place that they could go to when they got out. They had that problem fixed for them. And then they had a little pot of money over here that they could use for housing or a vehicle or whatever they may need. So that's something we really want to look at.
All right, the next question comes from the crowd. 1 minute. Give an example where your leadership made a positive impact in a situation. We will begin with Mr. Stewart.
Well, this goes back to, like Tony said, and the phone call. We worked a few years ago over at the task force that turned into one of the largest cases ever. A guy by the name of Juan Pantiga Moreno. And the phone call that started that case came in about 5 o'clock. Michelle, that she used to have a phone that rang in at the task force, and it had an answer machine. And that phone didn't ring very often, but that evening it rang, and for some reason it was 5:30, time to go home, and I picked the phone up into a major case. I didn't call anybody to come back in and go take care of anything. There were 2 of us already there, and we just handled that. And there's times that when there's certain things, you just have to take care of yourself without calling somebody else to do it for you.
I would say that whenever you go to work every day, you got to put on the positive face, professional face. I'm the one that, whenever we got the one that comes into the office that you know that is problems, I'm the one that they call because they want something to them. And I do this almost every day. I can name about 10 people that they just want somebody to listen to them. So being a positive influence, sometimes you just got to slow down and listen. And I enjoy sitting down there and talking. Sometimes I can't do anything for them, but I can listen to them. And they do want that. And I can tell you another thing that we've impacted is the deputies. talking about the pay raise, stopped our turnover rate. We are below the national average now, so we was able to affect at the Hawkins County Department is have a professional face, have an open ear, and sometimes just listen.
Mr. Good.
Since 1993, I was a policeman. I became chief, and you're a small department like that. You're not just a chief of police. You're a community friend. Small department to be a leader, showing them, how to do the job. Over the last 25 years, I've been a state trooper. I've trained several troopers over the years, got LTO. I had to go out. I've seen a lot of death. I've had to take these few young troopers out there and do death notifications. And you just got to be positive. You got to be a leader. Just try to be.
Gentlemen, if you could, please be sure to hold that microphone up close. Some of the folks online are having a little bit of trouble with holding that up close. Let me repeat the question. Give an example where your leadership made a positive impact in a situation. Mr. Miller.
All right, I can go back to, it's been a few years back, a situation where I was called to just go check on someone, a welfare check. And I called and I knocked on the door. And I've known this guy for a long time. I really wasn't expecting anything bad to happen. As soon as I knocked on that door, he walked out and he had just that look in his eye. It was really scary. And he pulled and saw he gun in my chest before I could do anything. And all I could do was talk to him, told him I knew his family, and I was begging him to stop. And that night, I was afraid, and thank goodness help showed up. But this guy he was able to walk back in his house, and we thought our department was going to be able to handle it. And I was afraid that I see, and I said we need to call for help, and this is going to really get bad if we don't. And it turns out this guy was planning to kill every one of us. And we went back to the house. I said we need to call the SWAT team. We asked for assistance, and thank goodness it worked out. He went to jail, but I had that gut feeling and I trusted him.
Mr. Britt.
This is a story I'll try to get in a minute or less. It goes back to the days when I worked as a school resource officer. I went to one of the elementary schools and headed to the kindergarten class. And after it was over, one of the students me and started talking, and it kind of piqued my interest. So I, in turn, talked to her team principal and done a little further investigating. And it ended up taking about 4 or 5 days to get the investigation. But it actually turned out that she had been the victim of a parental abduction. She was abducted by one of her parents, the other one, and systematically moving from state to state, school to school. Every semester she would go to a new school, but we were able to get that figured out, returned to the proper.
Next question is a 1-minute question. Why do you want to see Hawkins County, top law enforcement official in the county? All right, thank you all. Let's begin with the 1-minute question. Why do you want to serve Hawkins County as a top law enforcement official in the county? Mr. Allen.
That's easy. Public servant. Over 27 years ago, I looked at Wayne Clay wanted to be the sheriff of Hawkins County. I based my whole career on this. I didn't wake up one day and go, hey, it'd work on my high fives. I started 27 years ago. I can make a difference. I know I can be compassionate. I know I can go to the public and gain the confidence. have the town hall meetings, be an open ear, be a closed mouth when you need to be. It's hard for law enforcement to do that because we want to fix everything. Have an open ear. I can be the sheriff of Hawkins County. I want to be the sheriff of Hawkins County, and I don't want it just one term. I want it more than one term. So I'm not running just for a 4-year term, for at least 3 terms. So hopefully you get used to seeing one to be your next sheriff.
Mr. Good.
I want to be sure a real positive difference, both in the department throughout our community. My goal is to build a workplace where people are proud to serve, where they don't want to leave the sheriff's department, go to highway patrol, anything because of money. You know, money's great, but when you go to a department that you like working for, and the community you live in, you want to stay there. But just as important, I want to build trust between the department and the community. The people here deserve a sheriff and a team that they can trust, like they're proud to say that's my sheriff's department. I believe with other agencies, again, I'm Baton Rouge, and other agencies I work with, the camaraderie with the sheriff's department, like it used to be. We need to go back to the head. This is everybody's county, everybody's community. We need to work on making it better. I hold myself and the department to high professional standards. I believe in honesty, integrity, impartiality in everything I do. Again, I treat everybody the same. Everybody's going to be equal. Open door policy, got to work together, solve cases. We got to work together.
All right, Mr. Good, your time is up. Mr. Miller.
I've been doing this for almost 34 years now, and it's something that I dreamed about when I was a little kid. And I would like to live that dream out. I've been doing it long enough now that I feel like the time is right. I hope I can win, and I have enough time in that I can retire. But I feel like I'm in good shape. I feel like I get out there. I can go out with the deputies. I can do the day-to-day operation. And I'm not ready for the graveyard yet. I've got enough time in. I'd like to fulfill this dream out and serve the citizens of Hawkins County.
Mr. Britton.
Being sheriff has been a long time goal of mine. Started off, I originally looking to get into law enforcement. When I went to Lincoln Memorial, my degrees in wildlife fisheries management, wanted to be a game warden. But unfortunately, those jobs kind of dried up when I graduated, so I got into law enforcement, started working at sheriff's offices, and fell in love with this type of work. And being sheriff's been a long time ago. I would love to be the next sheriff, and after the first 4 years, if I'm fortunate enough to win the election, I'll let the people decide whether or not I'm going to run for a second. If that's going to be up to the people, I'll have enough time in to retire, or if enough people say they want to see me, I'll be more glad to run again.
Mr. Stewart.
Well, it's in my DNA. I mean, this is what I've done my entire adult life, is serve Hawkins County in one capacity or the other. And I want to continue to do that. Bring back trust to the community. You know, we want to set national standards. Sheriffs from California to Carolina to come to Hawkins County and ask, how are you doing what you're doing, with what you're doing it with? We want the employees to be happy. We want the community to be happy. We want buy-in. I want our deputies to feel like they have a voice. That's got 1 day on the job to the guy that's got 40 years on the job. I want everybody to be equal. I want the citizens to have a voice. You know, we've talked about putting some civil service to communities and stuff. The reason I say that is, like I said, I've been blessed to be at the task force. I've worked from California to Carolina, and I've seen what works and what doesn't work.
Question comes in from you two. You'll have 2 minutes. Mental health and wellness is regarding law enforcement officers, inmates, and the public. Do you have any changes or improvements you want to implement? And we will begin with Mr. Good.
Yes, I think it's very important, especially this day and time. It seems like it's a very big issue. There's several organizations out here that's actually contacted me run for sheriff, about implementing programs to the jail, come to people that's in jail, to help them when they get, that's the big thing, is when you get out of jail, it seems like you go right back into it. If we can make, have people have treatment, different programs out here, AA, things for drug, I think it'd be a great thing. Mental health, again, something we really got to look at. It's not just a problem here, it's a problem nationwide. So yes, I definitely think we've got things we need to implement.
Yes.
Mental health is definitely a concern. It's not just a concern with the inmates, it's a concern with the deputies. All the officers. It's very, things every day that they don't want to see. And we have to same thing with the inmates, people that's in jail. They don't want it to happen in their life. May not be. They've seen things that most people will never see. A lot of them come from poor families, poor backgrounds, and they struggle. And we've got to find a way to help them. If we don't help them, they're going to continue to be back in jail, in and out, and it's going to stay a problem. But a lot of them do need it. If I'm sheriff, we can they need. Same thing with our officers. A lot of people struggle. Divorce rate, problems in their family, make enough money, bills, things add up. And if I'm the sheriff, those guys, they can come to me. I'll do anything in the world for them. I'll do anything for the inmates. I'll do anything to help them.
Mental health, a big issue, especially people that are having a mental out when we respond to calls. I have spoke to some different organizations already and plan on speaking to some more to see what kind of assistance we can get. We do currently an in-service class on mental health awareness and how to deal with them, but I would try to increase that amount of training and try to get some more specialized training for the officers, not only for dealing with the public, if they start to well.
Mr. Stewart. So mental health is huge. Knox County is one of the largest jails around us, and they have 5 floors, and one floor down there is all mental health. Almost all mental health affects. Starts with the talk about drugs a lot. Well, a lot of those people that are seeking drugs and using drugs, they're trying to self-treat for one mental health problem or another. We see that across, it's not just a problem that's specific to us. So we've seen some different programs work. Washington County has a program that they're now in their jail, Sheriff Sexton. They've started it when he took over. That program is actually ran by a Hawkins County native right here in the Beach Creek community that works for Ballad Health. They have grants that are set up for that. And that we've spoke to them and many other groups. I see people in the audience tonight that are in some of those groups, and we've spoken extensively about it. Like I said earlier, jail is not a warehouse. It's not a warehouse for bodies. We don't just need to take people up there and set them there and say, okay, you've got 3 years. Here's 3 meals a day and a TV. Good luck. That's obvious. So we want to do everything we can to help them mental health, to addiction, if they need education, whatever they need. We've got to get those packed. We live in the greatest place in the country, in the world. People are moving here like crazy because they love what we got. And we need to love the people that we've got and quit just throwing them away.
What you probably don't know is we already have mental health in the jail, but you gotta remember, 250 inmates have some type of mental health. It all depends on how severe it is. If you want to talk about mental health, I want to throw out the big C word, COVID. After COVID hit, you could see it go downhill very quick. Even our issues having to deal with it, we have to deal with it. After they shut down Lake Shore, two other ones down, guess where they house them at now? They house them inside of your county jails. If you go, I've been across 95 counties in the state of Tennessee. Number one concern from all of the sheriffs is housing mental health. So if you want to see if you can help, is yes, we can put the programs in there. I want to put the programs in there. I've got 2 programs in mind that I want to start, just like Detective Stewart was talking about. Get these people some responsibilities whenever they leave the jail so they can have it. We got Fifth Pen just right up the road here that we can look at. But mental health don't just start with an adult. It starts by who is 5 years old and starts going on up. We have our community. We gotta love them. We cannot give up on our community.
Next question is a text message we received. 1 minute. How do you plan to attract new deputies? We will begin with Mr. Miller.
All right, that's that we got to start doing now. We got to make this job more attractive for the young people. I know used to back in the day, kids wanted to be policemen. They wanted to be firemen, and things like kids are away from that. Things within the schools. I know we're doing it now. We've got criminal justice program, and we're doing things that are making it more attractive. We've got to keep our pay going and let these guys keep them physically, keep them motivated, and hopefully more and more kids will want to do the emergency services thing. I know when I was in high school, that's all I ever wanted to be. I wanted to be a cop. I knew about the 5th, 6th grade, and I was motivated by officers that I've seen out directing traffic. And I see, man, I want to be these guys someday. And I feel kids don't want to do that. So we got to make it more attractive.
Mr. Britt.
In order to recruit new employees, we're going to start young. Positive interaction with law enforcement is going to be the number one goal. A good resource officer program. We already have another program called Shop with a Cop. The kids get to go and shop with a cop for Christmas. In order to have those positive interactions, we need to get the parents, and this is one thing that really upsets me, especially if I need to go into a store uniform, there's a parent in there with a small child. They will tell them, you better be good, there's the cop, he will take you to jail. We need to get that stopped. Let's have positive interactions with law enforcement.
Mr. Stewart.
One thing that I've studied on this a lot. A couple of different sheriffs. I went to a bunch of executive training and talked to some of them. One thing that they really are seeing that's happening is not only do the citizens want, the deputies won't buy in. They want to be able to have a voice when it comes to the small things, like what type of uniforms they wear, what vehicles they drive, what training they take. Just the small stuff, the stuff that's a recurring cost every year. You know, we're all buy vehicles. We're always going to have to buy. We're always going to have to buy firearms. We always got to train. And when you allow them to have that buy-in and say, well, hey, what is? You know, one thing we want to implement is quarterly meetings to where we give those deputies a chance to have a voice to give their opinion about such things.
Mr. Allen.
Well, this is pretty easy. After pay raise, our retention rate has decreased significantly. But if you will look on the national news of how many times that people wants to tell you that law enforcement is bad, social media is the devil. I think that you can put anything you want to on social media, and most of the time it's not even true. So if they want to start talking about how bad law enforcement is across the whole nation, we live in a good community. I still walk outside and people still wave at us. Any one of us sitting right here. We live in a good community. Thank goodness that we don't have to live in a city where people don't like us, because you're the citizens that love us and you still respect us, and we still love you and we respect you. You can thank the county commission for that. They're the one that fixed that. And Robbie Palmer. So he's the one that laid that up.
Mr. Good.
Like I said, the last 30 years, it's changed a lot since I started. Getting people to be a lot of it's ever been. Law enforcement's tough. Not everybody can do it. But my sheriff's property is your biggest recruiter is your deputies, who you work for. If you're a deputy and you love working there, you're going to tell the other people, hey man, this is a great job. I like being here. Of course, you can't, the pay, they got a good pay. So pay's a big pay benefits. That's an attraction. Everybody needs to make a good living. Again, it's a tough job. You got to work swing shifts. You got on your day off, you got to go to court. So it's not attractive like it used to be. So we've got to come up with a plan to get the best people and to keep the best people.
The next question came from the audience. What is the largest number of people you have for and the people you have managed? We will begin with Mr.
All right, I ran for the county commission 4 years ago, for the purpose of learning how county government works, and that, I think, will help me job as sheriff, because that gives me, or gave me, still gives me the opportunity to work with the entire county budget, not just the budget of the sheriff's office. And I see the county mayor and a couple other commissioners here tonight, and year it's on the budget, so this will be another opportunity.
Mr. Stewart.
So at the task force, I've about 7 agents full-time. We run on a budget of, it comes every 3 years. We'll probably grant a grant that's around $300,000. We have to go to county government every time we do anything with it. We've ran that for the last 12 years, and it's pretty much set, other than our drug fund. The drug fund's a little different. It fluctuates year to year depending on how many seizures we make and what we spend, depending on how much money we spend on drugs. Sometimes we spend a whole lot, and sometimes we get lucky and the TBI or DEA, FBI, somebody gets in with us, and we get to spend really like that. When we get to spend their money, and Tony likes it too, because it doesn't take anything out of our drug fund. So it just depends on how that is year to year. It varies.
Mr. Allen.
Whenever I was in college, I supervised people. I was over about 10 people then. Then I went to RA and RD at East Tennessee State. I supervised 16 people there. Whenever I came to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, I'm over 123 people. Every job that I've ever owned, I've been a supervisor. Now, if you want to talk about budget, you're right in my knowing right there is, a lot of people don't realize it's 124 million, a little over 124 million in the budget. 1.1 million budget that runs the jail, the courts, SROs, patrol, narcotics unit, process. Go through everything for you. But with that said, dealing with budget, I've been doing the budget. I'm the longest standing highway safety office in the budgets in the state of Tennessee. There's 3 other guys that's been with me when I first started. But we have accumulated over about $7 million in state funds that didn't cost the taxpayers.
Mr. Good.
I was the chief of the law department, and when you work hard, you've got a small budget. So you've got to look at every dollar that you spend. You've got to make sure that every dollar that you spend is worth what you're spending it on. The Sheriff's Department budget is actually $1.5 million, it's a little over $12 million. It's $2.8 million in the last year. So we've got to go back and and get the waste cut out of this budget and provide services, better services, and without the waste that we've got.
Mr. Miller.
All right, in Churchill, our budget is a little bit dollars, and that is for police and fire. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with how Churchill operates, but we operate under that budget. We only buy things that we absolutely need. When it comes to uniforms, cars, everything we do, we search for the best deal, what we buy. So hopefully I can take what I've learned through Churchill about shopping around, and if I'm sheriff, I'll keep doing that, and we'll buy everything that we need, and hopefully we'll get the best of what we need and get the most out of our money and the taxpayers' money.
Next question is by you two. It'll be 1 minute. If you had to cut the budget, see waste. Let's begin with Mr. Stewart.
Well, if you cut the budget, 75% of the sheriff's office salaries, and you're going to have to look, the only thing you can do, you can cut salaries or services. Do you start with that? Do you cut the jail? Do you cut our SROs? Do we cut narcotics? Do we cut those out? CID detectives. So at the end of the day, when it comes to cutting the budget, what do the citizens demand? Do you demand that you have a patrol? State statute, Tony can correct me if I'm wrong, the only thing that it requires us to oversee is the sheriff's office is, and everything else is the sheriff does citizens. So at the end of the day, if you're talking about cutting the budget, figure out what you don't want. You don't want SROs, narcotics detectives, you don't want patrol officers.
Mr.
I go with that again. Number one priority for the sheriff is the jail. The number two is the court. The number three is process. Four is to patrol the streets of Hawkins County. Just like whenever we had the shortfall, we got to start taking patrol officers just to run the jail. So yes, if you want me to stand here and tell you I'm going to cut a budget, there's absolutely no way. Because if I cut your budget, I'm taking services away from you as a citizen of Hawkins County, and it's not worth it. Because I love you and I care about you, and I want to say, so I will not cut a budget because I will not take services away.
Mr. Good.
When I'm talking about the budget, the waste in it, I'll give just one example. State SROs, that's paid for by the state through grants, so that acts out of the budget. I would never do that. Safety's first for the kids, safety's first for the officers there. One example of waste, you've got to take on cars for patrol deputies. You've got to take on cars for SROs. The problem you have down there, it's like everybody's got to take on cars. You've got people that works the court for the judge, for security stuff, you take on cars. So that's where I would start cutting. People that don't need take-home cars, if you're not subject to call out, you wouldn't have a take-home car. Take-home cars, you're paying for the gas, you're paying for the upkeep for the car, the insurance. That's a big chunk. You're looking at $150,000 to $200,000 for waste right off the bat. That can put some services doing that we do in this county. So I can help to one of them for years here. And you could save in that budget like that and get something like that. It could already be funded.
Mr. Miller.
All right, I actually agree with Tony. It's really hard to cut something once you've got it. There's a lot of things. It feels a lot different. I know our budget's a lot smaller. We operate on a smaller budget, but I can't think of anything that we have now that we could really do without. There's things that we could do to save on gas. We could shop around more for get vehicles, and we could. There's just a lot of things we can do. But once you have a budget, it's hard to get away from that. And I don't think that there's anything that we operated with the bare minimum of what we got now.
Well, for the sake of not sounding like a broken record to the budget, but the sheriff's top responsibility is the jail, then the court security, then civil process, and patrol and investigation. Those are basically an amenity or a benefit that is provided by the sheriff. And the only way to cut the budget would be to cut services, and I don't think anybody wants.
Our next question comes from the audience. It's 2 minutes. How will you address the drug problem in Hawkins County? Mr. Allen.
Whenever the Sheriff Lawson took over the fight the war on drugs, he done that. Scott's one of them. I see Nate over here, Gary, Reba, Boggs. They go and fight this every day. Every day they go out here and fight this. It's not just to go in down there and knock on the door and be able to kick in the door. These guys together every day, they fight every day for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue to fight this war on drugs because my kids go to public school here, they will here, and whenever I have grandkids, they're going to be going to public school here, and I do love this county. So every day we go to work, continue fighting for every citizen here to keep you safe and keep our schools safe.
Mr. Good.
Drug problem in this county is ridiculous now. It's got out of hand. It goes back. We need to put people in place to really find the problem that we have here. We got to, find other resources. We got to apply for grants and stuff like that. But it definitely needs to be one of the main priorities of the sheriff to make our community safe. Again, my kids go to public school here too. I've lived here my whole life. It seems like the drug problem just escalated. It got a whole lot worse. We definitely need to get this and do a better job of what we're doing and make the people that we got get out of the offices and go.
Mr. Miller.
I think we do have a drug problem here in the county. We got a lot of good people in this county. And a lot of the people that's getting in trouble seem to be the ones that's getting in trouble over and over and over. We got to find some kind of program to get these people help, or we have to lock them up. We find some way to solve them. I think we could do better if we had more people on the road. I know now it's at night at least it's the same amount of people that was on the road back in the early 90s. Sometimes we only have 4 people working at night, and they do a good job. They do the best with what they got, but it's going to take more people to be on the road. And the ones that keep getting in trouble over and over, we've got to do something. We've got to either help them, or we've got to lock them up.
Mr. Britt.
I do agree with a lot of what's been said. The recidivism rate is astronomical. I've spoken with a couple organizations, and this coming week I'm going to a presentation on I think it was a 6-year study that was Washington County's jail through ETSU, I believe, as far as which programs are working, ones work the best as far as and recidivism. It's basic economics, supply and demand. If the demand is there, the supply will be there. And in order to cut down on the demand, we need to get the people that are your daily users to get off the drugs, to cut down on the demand. And then if you cut down the demand, then the supply go away. But you got to get the people that it's not going to be just the position of sheriff it's going to take to achieve this. You're going to have to get the courts on board. We can't afford to send everybody as a county that comes into court because of a drug problem to rehab. We got to find programs that we can do in-house.
Mr. Stewart.
Well, I've been fighting this for 14 years at the Drug Task Force and with the FBI. So I've seen the front lines. I've seen, I've been blessed. We've worked cases for years with those agencies, and we've saw what works and we've saw what doesn't. We've got to get more investigators in that unit. We're down to 4 investigators and a lieutenant. And that's my #1 goal, because that's what fuels almost every crime we see. That's what separates families. That's what it's for. We've looked at reallocating some people, maybe move around, maybe looking at some part-time stuff, getting involved in other task forces, and bringing that number up from 4 to 8. My track record stands, and I'll put it against anybody. The 3rd Judicial District, we have won award at Narcotics Officers Association year after year for cases that we make, and we're 4 and 5 guys at a time, and these other agents have 10 and 15 people, and they tell us we make a great group. The FBI task force, they did our numbers a few years ago, and with 6 people, we seize as many drugs and as many guns as almost any other division of FBI hideout. So we know what works. We've been fighting that fight for years.
Next, Miss, 1 minute. How would you as sheriff support the 5 municipalities in the county and their respective departments? And with Mr. Good.
Well, I said earlier, we need to get back to working with each other. I think it's kind of got off the patch over years. It seems like nobody wants to get along anymore. I would work closely with the chiefs of police. I would work closely with the city administrator, the county. I'd work closely with the judges, district attorney. What would it take to change how everything's going on right now? We'd make it work together. And I'd be really open to have meetings quarterly with the sheriff, with the chief of police, the administrators, so we can make a positive change every meeting.
Mr. Miller.
I think it would be good if we could all get together, all the municipalities, Churchill, Mount Carmel, all of us get together at least once a month, because there's things that go on throughout the county. They may have a in Bulls Gap, and a few nights before, the same thing might happen in Mount Carmel. And there's a lot of times that if we could just get together once a month, these agencies, just eat lunch somewhere, get together, let everybody know what's going on in the community, because a lot of time it's these same people that are doing the same thing over and over. And if we could get together and just talk amongst one another, I think we could solve a lot of crimes, and we could help each other. And there was a time, a long time ago, where at least about 1 week with Sheriff Reimer, when he was there, one Reimer loved to get together and eat lunch and talk about our problems. I want to get back to that.
Most of the officers in the city departments came from the sheriff's office, so we've worked with them before. I would look forward to working with them again. Some of the administrators may have changed, but as far as the actual road officers, the city officers started out as patrol officers at the sheriff's office. I agree, we do need to work with building the relationships and the information. It would be nice if we could go to a combined report. We could see Churchill could see our reports, and we could compare methods of the different crimes. But as of right now, that's not the case. We have to call and get with the detectives or the individual officers that's working the cases to share the information.
Mr. Stewart.
One thing that we've seen that worked, when I started at the task force, they didn't do it, but we started doing monthly meetings. And we would bring all the agents involved in the task force together. And it didn't matter if they were assigned to the task force or they weren't assigned to the task force. They were drug investigators. anywhere in the district, they came in those cases. And it opened a lot of things up to say, well, me and Tony are targeting the same people. Why don't we get together and why don't we resource? It's the same thing. Some municipalities like, Sir Gorgeville, Churchill, Mount Carmel, they may not have the equipment. We got really, really good equipment at the Sheriff's Office, good equipment at the task force. And instead of both of us buying the same thing all the time, the Sheriff's Office may buy one thing, we may buy another, and they both do jobs. I think that worked really well together, and I think that's a plan that we could benefit the citizens, all those together.
Mr. Allen.
Well, there's one thing about it, it's called ISOMS. Is a 2-year task that I took on. Scornsville, Rogersville was able to in with us at a cost reduction because we went ahead and off the program. I know that we give logins to all of the police departments that they can look in to see our reporting system. But yes, we would love to sit down with each other. I'll give you an example though. I asked for a meeting for flock, and I went out to and flocks might be a bad word with some people that's not, but we need. And whenever I get the phone call, I'm always willing to sit down and go up to Chief Larson whenever he's not there. We are filling in on that. Whenever Scornsville's not there, we're filling in. Whenever Churchill calls, our guys are running, and whenever our guys yell for Churchill, so whenever the time comes, they're always going to be there for us, and I know.
Next question came from the audience. It's 2 minutes. What 1, 2, or 3 immediate changes will you make? Mr. Miller, we'll start with you.
All right, well, that's a good one, Gary. 3 changes. Number 1, I think we did more people on the road. I think God for our school officers, but I think some changes, policy change. We need to teach these resource officers how to deal with kids that are challenged, young kids, and we can do better in that department. The third thing is all I can come up with, Gary.
All right, Mr.
Well, the sheriff's going to have a big enough job after the election without having to worry about making a whole bunch of changes, but I know changes will have to be made. First off, everybody wants to know, well, what personnel changes are you going to make? Depending on who you talk to, which day of the week you talk to them, and what time of day you talk to them. Everybody's opinion is going to change as to whether they're going to stay, whether they're going to retire, or whether they're going to look for more, depending on who wins the election. So first thing the new sheriff's going to worry about before he can make any changes is who's staying and who's leaving. Once that gets sorted out, then you try to match the people and their personality to each individual job you want to put them in. And then once you get that, then hopefully everything else will fall into place. Another goal is I want to have more people on the road. I know everybody hates to hear that, but we need more people on the road. The population of the county keeps growing. We can't keep providing the same service, the same number of people that we had when the population's more. More people comes more problems. And one of the ways that I want to do that is with 1 2-man car per shift as a priority response vehicle. They're the ones to respond to the serious sounding calls. I'm pulling both cars from the one zone or from the upper end or the lower end, whatever you want to call it. You're not pulling both cars to one call. You can have that 1 2-man car kind of located in the county to where they can go one way or the other.
Mr. Stewart.
One thing I see change is getting the citizens involved. Have those quarterly meetings, not just with the deputies, but with the citizens, to you instead of you to come to us. You know, once a quarter, go to the four. Well, we have 4 zones that the deputies patrol. That's the way the county's divided up, and we can go to those areas and talk with citizens, get their concerns. You know, not just during election season. Like if it's good enough idea to do a campaign with you guys and trying to get your votes, I think it's a good enough idea to do throughout the year. Another thing, one day a week, our administration are going to work in that with their people, whether it's the patrol lieutenant out working a shift, whether it's detectives out working on a cold case or whatever that may be. We want to be out there. We want people to know that they can come up and talk to us at any time and that we're available.
Mr. Allen.
First and foremost, I want to continue securing grants for public school resource, the DUI enforcement, and the violent crime intervention. A lot of this has got to do with, now you got radars into the patrol units. We're implementing the body in the cars and on the bodies. This has been a 2-year process, and I'd like to see that to go through for the next 3 or 4 years. That's my number 1 goal, is to continue that. Prioritizing officer safety, ensuring that their equipment is up, that they don't have to worry about their car breaking down, which we're doing a whole lot better. Now we're in a rotation. It took many years to get to that point where we went into a rotation. Make sure, if an officer's got good equipment, they're a whole lot happier. If they're going out here and their car is breaking down, they worry about that, or their car's in the shop and they have to borrow one. And my number 1 thing that I hate is scammers. I cannot scam. I cannot, those phone calls, somebody sent me one today, your license is going to end. I am going to have education throughout this whole county so the elderly, and they will look at it and go, well, that's not true, and just hang up on them. If they call you, hang up on them. It's a whole lot of fuss, because I don't care. It makes them really mad. Scamming and AI. I don't like scams, and I do not like AI. So that's my top 3, sir.
Mr. Good.
Be a sheriff that's very transparent. I'll go in, evaluate everything. I want to make people go to work. That's the bottom line. We're going to go to work. We're going to get out of the office and go to work. You've heard the old saying, you've got a lot more chief, you got Indians. That's going to be my first priority, to change things like that. Get more people on the road, that's a priority. Get more deputies on the road. That's pretty much the main thing I'm looking at.
All right, folks, we've been going now for 63 minutes. We've had 13 questions answered so far. So let's bring up the last question. Last question, you will have 5 minutes each to answer this question. Last question of the evening. What closing statement would you like to give to this audience this evening? We will begin with Mr. Britton.
I just want to make sure that everybody, I think I lost track. I want to thank everybody for the evening, listening, putting forth. I hope you've gained what you came here for. And if you have any other questions for me, like I said in the beginning, my information's out there. Please feel free to contact me. Just keep in mind, if you do reach out, I am still working on Mondays and Tuesdays, so if you want to reach out to me on a Monday or Tuesday, do it after 5 p.m. Other than that, Wednesday through Sunday, I will be available. I really hearing from everybody, and once again, thanks everybody for. I want to put my years of experience to work for the citizens of Hawkins County. I love Hawkins County. I'm from Hawkins County, and I want to stay in Hawkins County. And I look forward to hopefully being your next sheriff.
Mr. Stewart.
Well, to echo Chad, thank you everyone. Thanks for all the interest, all the questions, all the people we've talked to thus far. Thankful for my team that's helping me do this. You know, we're out here, we've knocked on, we've talked to a lot of people. We want to continue to do. If I heard a sheriff in a training I was at one time, he said, I want to be the kind of sheriff that when I retire, and you see me, that you want to walk, that your head and go, oh, I hope he doesn't see me, and go the other way. That's what we're going for. I was born for this. This is what I've done. So my entire life has been dedicated to the citizens of Hawkins County. I've seen, out here hitting the campaign to a lot of people that I've dealt with their family during their worst times. And, a lot of people say, he talks about mental health, and we talked about the toll that it takes. I find it an honor and a privilege to be the one that knocks on somebody's door in the morning and give them the worst news that they've ever had. I'm proud of it because I want to be the person that's there that leaves them with a genuine feeling he cares. And I want to show up for you every day of the week. I want open doors. We've talked about transparency. I want people to know that they call. Our number is on every piece of media that we've got, whether it be a door hanger, a car, social media. That won't. I've done this my whole life, and I don't plan on doing anything else. I don't plan on going anywhere else. And we just want to do what's best for the citizens. I thank you all for coming out. I thank these other men up here with me today, shoulder to shoulder with any of them. And think we've got a good group right here. But thank them for coming out and doing this. I want to thank the Republican Party for everything they've put into it. I know they've got a lot of phone calls and a lot of heat over this as well. And I just want to thank them. And again, I want to thank you all for coming out and being in the county. The numbers of people that are moving in here, it's a lot. We went from 56,000 to over 60. And, there's a lot of people that don't know any of us. There's a lot of people I look through here and I see, and I've known my whole life, but there's others. Tonight's the first night I'm seeing them. So we're going to be here after, be happy to talk to anybody. And like I said, y'all, everybody's got my cell phone number. Call me. I'll be happy to meet you any day, anytime to talk to you.
Mr. Allen.
First and foremost, thank you for what Scott said. It's to be able to put and you be able to hear me what I've got to say. Schools are me. I went to public school. My children went to public school. School safety is number one to me. Elderly people who have been scammed is taught. I cannot stand that. Quick lady got scammed out of $50. We was able to go get the money back for her. We gave it back to her in 3 days, and then 2 days later, she gave that money away again. That happened with me, and I cannot get that out of my mind. If you want somebody to sit down and talk to you for 2 hours, I'm not your guy. It's not me. I cannot sit still. I have to be doing something every day. And ask the people who work with me is I cannot sit still. I have to be doing something. I'm not doing you justice if I'm going to go and sit for 6 hours in the office and not do anything, or to go back to the jail. I'm not doing you justice as a Sherifs County. Now, if you want to stop and talk about 15 minutes or 10 minutes, I can do that. But my anxiety is going to go way off the chain if I have to sit longer than that. So if you want a work ethic, that's me, because I will. And thank you for your support. Thank you for being here today. And God bless you, because we cannot do it without Him.
Mr. Good.
First off, I want to say thank you too for allowing me to be here, answer the questions. I'll be here later too. If anybody's got questions that didn't get answered, I'll come up too. Like mine short. I'm not affiliated with the Sheriff's Department. I'm ready to be a sheriff. I'm ready to bring back trust and integrity, ethics, transparency, everything in this department. This county deserves it. We all deserve it. Like I told you earlier, law enforcement's a tough job. I think we ought to be held to higher standard, including the sheriff included. So again, I'll make it short and sweet. I hope you vote for me. I need you to vote for your sheriff. From day one, I'm going to start the ground running. We're going to tackle the budget. We're going to tackle all the issues that we can. Provide better. We're not going to enter problems about the telegraph investigate and answer every call. So again, thank you for coming, thank you for allowing me to be here.
Mr. Miller.
I want to thank everybody for being here, also the Republican Party, and these guys that I'm with here tonight. They've all been exceptional, they've all been really nice, all getting along really good. I'm 55, 65 hours a week. I'm not fortunate enough for some of these guys to have any time off. If I want off, I have to take vacation. I'm out. I've fit my campaign. I've not taken a dime from anyone. If you see me out putting out signs, it's me as my wife and two buddies of mine that desire to ever be police officers. And I don't have any millionaires giving me money. I don't have any deputies putting up my signs. I don't owe anybody anything. I hope you will all vote for me. I'll do anything I can to help any one of you. I apologize for all these places that I've not got to go to. There's a lot of places in Quinch and Bulls I've not got to be, and I look forward to when I have a day off. I hope I get to meet some of you. I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I've been at 9 parades. We've done a couple of Halloween things, and a lot of you probably never seen my floats or anything that we've had in these parades we've done. They wasn't exactly on the front page of the Rodmore Review, so they were in the back somewhere maybe. But I look forward to meeting a lot of you. I'll be here after it's over. And if you need anything, you can always ask. I'll be there to answer any questions. And once again, thank everybody. Thank you, Gary. Everybody, right? Exactly.
All right, everybody sit still now, because if I do what I do next, you're going to think it's over with and hop up, so don't do that. Let's give all these candidates a round of applause. All right, again, if you didn't get a flyer, you can come scan this one. Be sure to scan this. Don't think of these kids or volunteer as you leave tonight or when you get home, whenever you do that. But let's again thank the Volunteer High School Broadcast Club. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's also give Sigornsville Middle School, and it takes a lot of folks to make sure that we can use this facility tonight, so let's give them a round of applause. Thank you to all who made that happen. Let's give a large round of applause for the Beta Club who helped us tonight. Also, we've seen them sneak in. Let's give Sigornsville's finest. Let's give them a round of applause for being here tonight. Thank you guys. And finally, let me say thank you. You all could have been in a lot of different places tonight, but you come out and to be informed and make good decisions when you go to the voting. Say thank you all for caring. Thank you all for caring about you. And with that, let me just throw in a shameless plug for the Hawkins County Republican Day dinner that's coming up April the 18th. You can see Ms. Sherrill. She'll give you every bit of information you want regarding that. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Good night. God bless.